Good afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? I hope you're doing good. I'm trying to keep my mind on the Lord and making sure my faith in Him, stays good. And I'm still working at that. I know God is there, and I know He'll help me through whatever I need to go through. But every once in a while, I feel like somebody comes and knocks me down, and I got to realize that's the devil doing that. He's using who he can to chip away at me. And when it's hard to concentrate sometimes, or hard when I'm talking to God or praying to God to keep my focus, I know it's the devil trying to get my attention, putting other thoughts in my mind about stuff that I really don't have no business thinking about when I'm praying to God. He may, if I'm in the middle of prayer, he may try and throw in my mind what I'm going to have for my next meal instead of what I'm praying about right then. And excuse me, I'm sorry. You know, I have found even before the 25th of last month that the devil attacks us. The closer we get to God, the more the devil attacks us. And right now, uh, he's trying to push me from having that bond I had with God, um, spiritual bond, loving, bond where um, that I know God will take care of me and stuff, and the devil's trying to push me away, and mm, I, I struggle sometimes to keep the thoughts the devil puts in my head out and keep the thoughts I was doing so well thinking back in my head, and I know God is there. I know He loves us all. I know we're all His children, and He wants to take care of us. We just have to let Him. And when the devil starts creeping up on me, like when I'm praying to God, and he makes my thoughts go to something totally different, and I know that's when I really need to call on having strength with God. God's strength carry me through. That's how that needed to be worded. I'm sorry. Uh, Sometimes I get a little confused in my words how to say something, but anyway, um, the devil puts things in front of us and in front of me that sometimes either confuses me, and not really second guessing that God is there, but making me wonder what what something is or why it is or whatever. And when I can concentrate on God, things go really well. But with the devil poking at me all the time, it makes it hard to focus on God. And I know right now I really need to focus on God way more than I have been. And every time the devil comes after me, like when I'm praying or something, putting thoughts about who knows, just all kinds of random stuff in my head. Uh, what kind of favorite ice cream, or what meal am I going to have, or when am I going to go to bed at night? Anything. He'll put anything in there to keep me from having contact with God, talking to God, praying to God, thinking about God. And I don't want it to wear me down. I struggle with this sometimes, and I know God is there. I know God wants the best for me. I know He'll take care of me. I know He sent His Son to die on the cross for me, like He did us all. But, you know, I have to find my way to fight the devil, and I know it would be good if I asked God to um, help me with that fight. And sometimes I don't think about that, and other times I do. I think about um, asking God to not let the devil distract me and not let the devil get you know get a hold of me. And the devil waits when God keeps the devil out of my head for a while. The devil waits till I'm not paying attention, and then boom, he's trying to get right back in there. So it's a constant thing when I worship Jesus Christ and when I worship God, you know, and praise Him. It's a constant thing to make sure that I continuously do that and um, not let the devil get in, not let the devil uh, try and take my attention and my love away from God. There is no amount of money or anything in this world that is more important than having a relationship with God. No person, no thing, no nothing. God has to come number one. And when we forget that, and sometimes I do, and sometimes the devil makes that hard to see, but God has to be number one. And you, well, if I give him full attention, and I don't let that old devil sneak in and kind of take me away from uh, loving God or trying to come in and push me away from God. Things go really well. So uh, when when I wanted to talk about something else too. When you have faith in God, when you have love and trust in God, and somebody comes at you and tells you this is the way it is because I know I've got all this experience behind me, or I've done this or that, or I've studied this way or that way. So, you better get right with God because the way you're doing isn't good. Look inside yourself, talk to God, pray to God, and see what God says. Because not everybody that tries to convince you their way is the right way or the only way. That's not always the case. It ain't always that way. You have to decide for yourself as you read the Bible and you worship God and you talk to God. You have to decide for yourself what He means by the things He puts in the Bible and what uh, what He wants of us to do. So, if somebody kind of attacks your belief in God and the thing that you feel are right and wrong with God and that sort of thing, they can try and shake your faith in God and what you're doing and try and convince you to do it that way, their way. Don't be deceived by everybody or anybody that tries to do that their way is definitely the right way and you're wrong, so you got to change and follow and do everything they say. Don't be deceived in the fact that they've got hours of studying or they've got experience doing or whatever. If you feel something in your heart and you talk to God or pray to God or whatever, and He tells you keep doing what you're doing, you keep doing what you're doing if that's what you feel right about. I'm not trying to tell you what the Bible means or what you do and don't have to do. I'm just trying to suggest. This is supposed to be a suggestion, you know. When somebody attacks your faith because you don't believe the way they believe, just know that God knows your heart. God can search your heart anytime He wants to, and He knows your heart. He knows how you feel, what you mean by what you say, and He knows. He knows. So I don't try and I'm not trying to preach, and I definitely am not a teacher either. But you know, I just this is the things I go through, and recently I had somebody pretty much tell me that I don't have the right faith because it doesn't go by what they believe for whatever their reasons are, and I don't necessarily agree with them. The way their um, beliefs or whatever, the way they see um, what the Bible says. And I'm not going to say whether they're right or wrong. I'm just going to say I feel the way I feel, and I believe that I have a good relationship with God. And sometimes, like since that conversation, I feel like um, having my faith in God questioned is trying to make me question my faith in God. And I've been struggling about this since then. And I know where my faith lies. My faith lies in God. So if anybody tries to shake your faith in God for any reason, tries to tell you that their way is the right way and they know because, then to me, they're trying to push off their beliefs on you instead of um, instead of just explaining things. They poke out there one or two or three verses of the Bible and say, "I've done this, so I know it's right." Explain to me why in a way that I can understand. And when it's explained in a way that somebody says, "Well, it's that simple. It's that simple." No, if it was that simple, then I'd understand it your way. And it's hard to learn from somebody like that um, what they're trying to get across. And if you feel like somebody's trying to push something on you and they're trying to tell you that you're not really smart enough because it's simple and you should be able to understand it, and if they're trying to tell you they know for whatever reasons, think about who it's coming from. Think about what you've learned from the Bible and how you've interpreted the Bible yourself. Think about your relationship with God and how strong it is and what conviction you have in praising God for all the good and blessings He's given to you in your life. And think about, just think about what makes you be able to have such a good relationship with God. Don't let somebody that shoving something in your face and just says it's that simple rather than to try and find a different way to um, explain it. Don't let them just push you into something you don't believe or you don't feel is right. So uh, I didn't really mean to get into that deeply about that, but don't let somebody shake your faith is basically what I'm trying to get at. Don't let somebody start making you second guess your faith in God, because when you start second guessing your faith in God, that's a way of saying that you don't have the faith in God you need. I know God's there. I know He's always done good for me. There's was bad things happen in my life, but that doesn't mean God wasn't there for me to get me through them. That just means that at that time, that's something that needed to happen. So I think I'm getting kind of tired, and just remember, keep your faith in God, and don't let that devil in. Don't let that devil uh, trick your mind into thinking things that you don't want to think, or trick you into getting distracted from talking to God, or praying, or don't distract you from uh, living a good, proper life the way you believe God would want you to live it. I'm sorry, God would want you to live it. You know, just have faith and believe in your faith for God. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and y'all uh, like, share, comment, subscribe, anything like that you'd like to do. Uh, y'all have a great day. Bye.